My grandma Burton Stay delivered me.
Oh. Now, was she your grandmother on your mother's side or your father's
My
side?
dad's side, but she was the Indian doctor.
Oh my goodness.
And, we called her Stay, but she was a great aunt.
Oh.
But everybody called great aunts their grandmother, so we called her Stay.
Oh. So she was also she also practiced as a midwife.
A midwife, yes, and she made a lot of medicines made out of from roots and herbs, and boy, she was really good at it.
Wow. Did when you were young, did you have any occasion to use Indian medicine to get well?
Oh yes, a lot of devil clubs and Hooligan grease.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a lot of things that. Oh, it was too expensive to buy, medicine, and this was during the Depression. So, except for that painkiller that Mother used to make us drink, and it had crossbones on it. I don't think we were supposed to drink it. But she made us drink it, and it burned.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's funny. She just gave it to Helena and I don't think us and them ever drank it.
Oh no.
Yeah, it turned the tea. She'd mix it with tea. It made the tea turn white.
Oh, that sounds like poison to me.
I think it had crossbones on it.
Oh no. Gee, you're lucky to be alive, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe it just made you have an iron belly, huh?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What year were you born?
October 14th, 1925.
And who were you raised by?
Well, I was raised by Matthew Fawcett, my dad, and my mother, Margaret Ridley Fawcett.
How many brothers and sisters did you have?
Well, I don't know how many, but Ronald was the oldest, and then Al, and Oscar, and then for the girls, Dora was the oldest, and then Hannah and Lena, and then myself.
Okay. Okay. You gave your names, okay. Who did you marry?
Oh, Floyd Wilson. He was a Coast Guardsman.
Oh. How did you meet him?
Oh, I was going with his best buddy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Was that during World War II?
Yes,
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sounds like my story.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What clan do you belong to? Is that
Ishpatwata. Is that okay?
And what clan is that?
It's Killer Whale.
Yeah. Now, what clan was your father in?
He was a Raven.
Raven. Okay. Do you remember anybody being called by an Indian name when you were young? Neighbors or friends, relatives?
Well, I used to see a chief down at, what was his name? Chief Johnson. Yeah, him and his wife used to sit out their door. And every time he'd see us go, he always used to nod his head to me. And he always wore that robe. Yeah, it seems the only thing I never noticed him and his wife do was sit on their steps. And up to this day, I don't think I ever saw them going to the store.
Oh, how strange.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Probably had slaves and whatnot to.
Oh, or this would be like 1930. I don't think so.
Yeah, well.
Family.
We never know.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
But I can just still picture them up to this day.
Do you remember if they had an Indian name?
Well, people just called him Chief Johnson.
Oh.
And then I remember Chief Cayenne.
Oh?
Yeah, he used to live down the street from us. And he used to sit outside, take a chair, and go out to the street and sit and watch people.
Huh.
I never did see his wife, but his son was a good friend of ours.
Who was
Peter,
his son?
Uncle Peter Cayenne.
Oh.
The one we had to help take care of before he died.
Yeah. No, how was he your uncle?
My dad adopted him as a brother because he took good care of my dad before he died. And so they adopted each other as brothers. And
Yeah.
Dad told me, he says, always take care of him. He says, he's my brother. He said, he's the only one that's helped me out ever.
Was Peter Kayan, was he Tsimshian?
No, he was Tlingit.
Yeah. Do you know if he was from Cape Fox or
Oh,
up north or Tongass tribe?
Tongass tribe. He always used to talk about the Tongass tribe.
Oh, interesting.
What amazed me while we were taking care of him, Lena and I, that none of his relatives ever came forward to take care of him. The only time they used to bother him was when they'd come and borrow money for their drinks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What was the name of the elementary school you went to?
Oh, it was the Mahoney Heights Government School.
How old were you when you started going to that school?
I was 8 years old.
Hey, how long did you go to that school?
Oh, till the 8th grade.
Oh,
Then I went to KI.
you went to KI? Whoa,
I
now
was in the 9th grade.
where was KI located?
Up on that big hill.
Oh, in the same place?
Yeah, downtown.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we'd walk up those long stairs.
Wow.
And then I went up to Wrangell Institute for three months, I think.
Oh, what did you think of the Wrangell Institute?
Oh, I loved it. I could have stayed there.
Yeah. What was it like? Was it a girls' school or for girls
Well,
and
it
boys?
was both boys and girls. It's, 3 weeks we'd go to school. And then 1 week we'd take turns. We'd go do our work, and I had to work in the kitchen.
Oh.
We'd get up early and make toast and stuff for breakfast, you know.
Yeah.
So that was really enjoyable.
Were there kind of like recreational or fun activities to do at
Well,
Wrangell?
well, if you ever left the campus, as they said, well, you had to work on chain gang.
Oh, that wasn't a good thing, huh?
And I was on chain gang every week.
Oh no.
Yeah. I
Is that
loved to
like
go on the bicycle, so we used to go on the bicycle, take off, and nobody told us that we weren't allowed to smoke there, and there we were smoking, so
Wow.
there we were every Saturday on our hands and knees scrubbing the floors, washing windows.
But you still have fond memories?
Yes.
Can you remember some of the people that you went to school with? Do you remember some of the people who like live in Ketchikan today, or some of your
Well,
classmates?
one of the teachers was Father Mather's daughter, Clarissa.
Oh.
Yeah, and she married the superintendent up there, Mr. Barrett. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and a lot of the kids came from Middle Catholic
Oh.
and from here, so, and there was lots from around Juneau,
Mm-hmm.
and I made friends with a lot of them.
Yeah.
I
So.
think it was up there that I finally found out that the Tlinkits and the Tsimshians had put up seaweed different.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, well, see, we were raised down here to dry them or roast them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and up there they had, it looked to me like dried kelp. They were so thick and hard.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I was so excited when Nora, one of my friends, she said, "You want some seaweed? I got some from home." I said, "Sure." So, boy, I had a hard time trying to chew it.
It's not like we make, huh?
No.
Wow.
I said, "What did you call it?" She said, "Seaweed."
Wow. Well, that's surprising, I would assume.
Well, that's different. Just like up there, up in English Bay, when they take seaweed, they take the ones off the top
Mm-hmm.
and they roll it in a ball.
Oh my goodness.
And they could never keep their seaweed. It turns
Rancid. Rotten, huh?
rotten.
Yeah.
And so they threw it away.
Of course. It can't
Yeah,
dry in a
after,
ball.
after getting it and then rolling it in a ball. I've never heard of anybody rolling them in balls before.
Oh, that doesn't sound...
Can't dry out.
No, so when I went up there, you know, and here I found seaweed back where Roddy lives. And Roddy had, every time I went up, he says, "Mom, don't forget to bring me some seaweed." So I always bought some seaweed, went up there here there was lots on the back of where he lived.
Oh, in their own backyard.
Yeah, so we were down there getting gumboots. And so I dried them out, and then pretty soon, well, he says, let's try over there. He says, by the rocks, you know. Oh, they were just all over. You sat in one place and you could fill up your bags, and gumboots were so huge.
Oh, wow.
Oh, they were so good.
So like heaven?
Yeah.
Don't they have hooligans too?
No, I always used to take up hooligans up there too.
Oh, okay.
But this is English Bay.
Oh, English Bay, yeah.
Yeah, and that I started getting a whole bunch. Rod would help me and would dry it. I'd go on top of the smokehouse and lay out a sheet, you know,
Yeah.
because there's too many dogs and cats and kids and grown-ups. I didn't want them to spit on my seaweed, so I always put it way up on the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, and dry them out. And those people, they were talking to each other. She's eating killer seaweed. She's eating killer seaweed. Yes. Every year they said the same thing. And once I happened to look sideways. There was a lady there looking at me from binoculars.
Oh my gosh, you were a real curiosity,
Yeah,
weren't you?
watching me put up seaweed up on the roof. Oh boy, that was... And I did that for years, and they kept saying she's eating killer seaweed. But finally, after about the 5th year, I think, and here pouring cats and dogs, and here comes a whole bunch of women, and some of them were men. They were all lined up in front of the door. And so my daughter-in-law, she says, "Mom, it's for you." She said, I said, "Yeah." I said, "Who is it?" And I said, "Wow." I said, "What are all those people doing?" She says, "They want to talk to you." And I said, "Yeah, what about?" I said, "Why don't you guys come in?" I said, "It's awful wet up there." Well, they said they want you to teach them how to make seaweed. It's just your way, southeastern.
Oh, great.
So since it was wet, I couldn't dry them outside. So I took some in a pan, put some on top of the stove, and put some in the oven. But you've got to watch it carefully.
Yeah.
So they don't
Low
burn.
heat?
Yeah. Yeah, and so, well, some of those people, and then I let them eat it, would put the whole bunch in their mouth, and you know, seaweed expands as it gets wet. So women were choking.
Oh no, no wonder killer seaweed.
Yeah.
That's what they meant.
Yeah, well, no, they figured that kind of seaweed is poisonous.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've never heard such a thing as poisonous seaweed.
Well, that's the way they were raised. Yeah, and the oldest man in the village, well, he didn't want people to know. He was gathering seaweed, you know, and putting them up. And he hid it under his bed in the beer box, you know, the seaweed he dried. And he happened to be so mad one day during the summertime. He says, "There's no good people." I says, "What are you talking about, Joe?" He said, "Somebody went and stole my seaweed under my bed."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Gee, they could turn that into money, a currency.
Yeah. Yeah, so now a lot of them put up seaweed.
Good.
Does Rodney get his?
Oh yeah, Roddy would put them up. Oh, he's good at it. He's so good. Yeah. And those people up there never would, you know, smoke fish, can fish like we do down here. They'd watch for somebody else to do it. And then when they'd want some, they'd beg them, knock on their door and ask them if they could have some. And yet they wouldn't do it themselves with all the fish they got up there. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, and boy, I was so amazed. We were filling up the smokehouse with fish. And you know, they were coming by at nights, I think, and they were stealing our smoked fish.
Gee.
I couldn't believe it, and we had to put a padlock on the smoked fish door.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, that's how those people were. So I think they were afraid that I was going to eat up all their fish. And so they started putting out fish, but it was just like Christmas. They hung them over the trees.
Oh
to see
Wow, that
it.
must have been a sight.
Oh yeah, there was all stuff. They take out all the bones, you know,
Oh, yeah.
throw away the bones.
Yeah.
But ours, we do ours whole,
So,
the
yeah,
envelope
everything.
style.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and then I picked lots of berries. I got lots of berries up there. Nobody would pick berries or jar them. And they had freezers and they never put them in.
Yeah.
They were just laid back people. So I'd come back with buckets full, boy, and put them up, you know, in jars.
Yeah.
And then pretty soon they started. Oh, and then I froze lots. Oh, they were so huge. Everywhere you looked, they were just all over.
Boy, that sounds wonderful.
Yes,
Oh.
those people, they just never took advantage of that.
They should get back into subsistence again.
Oh,
They
yes.
should. I was wanting to know if you can remember who the leaders or elders of the Native community were when you were a young child. Who do
Well,
you remember that the people?
oh, yeah. Well, there was Father Mather,
Yeah.
Father Paul Mather,
Uh-huh.
and Leonard Allen. He was superintendent of our school.
Uh-huh. Was he native or?
He was white. Him and his wife was a teacher too.
Uh-huh.
And,
Oh.
but Leonard Allen, he took it. He wanted to talk Tsimshian, so boy, he was getting good at it.
Oh, wow.
He talked to the old people and he learned how to talk Tsimshian. He was just like one of us.
That's great. Now, did he talk Tlingit and Haida also?
No, Tsimshian.
No, he just took
Yeah.
up the Tsimshian language, huh? Well, boy, that shows a lot of effort on his part.
Oh, it was, and everybody liked him. In fact, he was the one that told Al and Wilbur Ridley that they should apply for a loan. And I think this was during the Wheeler and Howard Act.
Oh, yeah.
And Al had taken 1 year of school in the University of Washington to be a lawyer. And so they did. They filled out all these papers, and they're the ones that started the Demoksh.
Oh, Demoksh Hall?
Yeah.
YPAC?
Yeah, they built it there, and there's a big dance hall and a big dining room, and
Wow.
big long stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was the one that talked the boys into it.
Wow.
Mhm.
So he would even past his duty as a school principal to teach the children, but he went past to help out the community, huh?
Right.
That's great.
Mhm.
No wonder he's considered a leader then. Have you ever heard of anyone being a hereditary chief when, through your time growing up? Have you heard talk or
Well, I just know my mother.
rumors your mom was?
Well, yes, she was supposed to be a chief after her dad died.
Uh-huh.
But then, and her name was Effendow.
Ashley Dow?
Oh, Effendow. I ain't let him down. Yeah, and no, everybody wanted her chief name, but that's Early Frost. Mhm. Yeah, so our cousins wanted it, but Mother was too sick and too old at that time. She couldn't hear, so she never passed it on.
Oh.
So that's why my other sisters didn't want it, so that's why I gave it to my daughter Terry Burke.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Great.
Yeah, so
I'm the
there's a
beneficiary.
chief.
Well, that's amazing. I was wondering if you could tell me some stories or little anecdotes about the leaders when you were young, like to give us an idea of what kind of people they were. Can you recall anything that specific that Paul Mather did to, that you can remember to help out the people, or what kind of person Leonard Allen was? Give us an idea of what kind of people they were.
Well, all I remember about Father was being the preacher, and somebody was sick, he was always there, But how he became a preacher was Bishop Rowe years ago. We never had a church for the Tsimshians. They used to go to the Salvation Army. So when Bishop Rowe came to Ketchikan, and the Tsimshians said, really needed a church of their own. And Dad has always been a go-getter. And so Bishop Rowe asked Dad, he says, if we get the money, he says, can you get elect some of the people, the elders, to build this church? He says, and find out who's going to be the preacher, pick the preacher out. He says, that'll make a good one. And so Dad got a hold of Robert Ridley and Casper Mather, Paul Mather, and they had a meeting there, and and there was Ella Guthrie, and a lot of them are carpenters too. And so they built the St. Elizabeth Church.
Oh, that's how the St. Elizabeth
That's
Church
how
came
they
to get built?
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's how Father Duncan got in.
Oh.
Yeah, so we were proud of it till we lost. But it was a wonderful place to go to.
No, you said that's how Father Duncan got in. Did you mean that's how Paul Mather
not Father
got in?
Duncan,
Paul
it was Bishop Rowe.
Oh, Bishop
Rowe told Dad, he says, pick out who's going to be your preacher.
So did he pick Paul Mather?
Yeah, Paul Mather, he figured would be about the best one.
Was he already studying to be a
No, he wasn't.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that church that they built was a big center for the community then.
It was. So we used to have dinners there. Oh, especially the first part of the year. We'd have big deer meat soup, and lots of people would be invited. And it would be so full.
Yeah.
And, well, that's what they call is eat and get rid of all the bad things from the following year. This is wash it off.
Eat them down and wash it off.
Yeah,
Oh,
wash
wonderful.
it off.
Wonderful.
So we'd have that party. And then after that we'd have games. And at one time, my mother, well, she got up there, they were all dressed up in different clothes, you know, and my mother there, when they asked her what she was, and she said she was Jesse James. I don't know where she got that from, but she did.
That's cute.
And then when they were playing games, and then they had everybody, you know, they'd spin, like spinning the bottle. And then my brother Al had to get up there, and he had to do something, so he got on his knees and in front of a little old lady, and then he started singing Mammy.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, it was so much fun. After that, we danced to
Oh,
the
what kind of
Virginia Reel.
Oh, how beautiful.
Oh, yeah, that used to be so much fun.
Oh, boy, I'm jealous. I envy you. I wish I could have, experienced.
Oh, yeah, and then we had the Young People's Fellowship where we'd give dances of the church. And that's where I learned to jitterbug.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Wow. Let me see. I was wondering, how do you feel about passing on the Tsimshian language to the younger generations?
I think it's so important because I think it's the only way that you can really express what happened to our people years ago. And it makes me kind of sick. It's just when I see the little ones that they just talk English. And they should know at least the important parts and why this happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know when we were small, we were told that we had to forget our language. And my dad came up to the school one day, and they were teaching the girls how to make Indian baskets. My dad got so mad, he came up and he told Leonard Allen, he says, you go ahead, let the other girls learn. He says, but I want my girls out of the class. I don't want my girls to learn to make baskets. He says, that's for old people. He says, we left that behind, the other country we come from. So I never did learn to make baskets.
Oh, and now it's come back today, and the price of a small basket is very, very high.
Oh, I know.
If you could weave, you'd be rich.
I would. Well, my grandmother, I used to take her around to sell baskets. And it wasn't to sell in the stores, it was to go to different houses that she knows that they want Indian baskets. and trade them for clothes,
Oh, how
you know.
Barter.
Yeah. Oh, and that was a lot better than money.
Money, that's right.
And some people would give her money too besides the clothes.
Wow. Now, which grandma was this?
This Grandma Annie Murchison.
Oh.
Yeah. But I think it was kind of funny too because one time I went home with her after she came over from selling baskets.
Uh-huh.
And so that night over in Millicamp, she told me to go to bed early. And there's summertime, it's daylight. I told her, I said I wasn't sleepy. Well, she says you're tired from the trip from Ketchikan. So we're taught to mind. So I said, okay. So I went to bed, laid down. I couldn't sleep. Boy, there was a lot of giggling going on in the next room. So pretty soon I took it for a couple hours and I got up and I stood in the doorway of the kitchen where my grandmother and all her little friends were. And I saw a bottle of gin. Those little old ladies were having a party. And I said, Grandma, I said, you're getting drunk? I said, she said, no. She says, the doctor has told me, he says, it's my medicine. I said, no, it's just gin on the bottle. She says, don't tell your mother. I never did tell my mother. So I think those little old people were kind of scared, so they all broke up the party and went home.
Oh. Oh. It's funny. Now, I was wondering if you could give us, your opinion or insight on how come you think it's important for the younger generations to learn Tsimshian. And you did mention a little bit about that already, about they're just speaking English, and that it's important that they know, why the Tsimshians aren't speaking Tsimshian, and to pick it up again, to start speaking it again.
Well, I will tell you, it's hard for them to pick up now, because years ago, as I was growing up, all we did in our family was talk Tsimshian, because it's what Mother and Dad talked, and besides, I don't think we know too many English words. So I didn't learn till I was 8 when I went to school. All I talked was Tsimshian.
Yeah. Yeah. Did your school support or discourage the use of the Tsimshian language?
No, they discouraged us.
Was there any, like a discipline policy for people who use the Tsimshian language instead of English? Did you ever see anybody get disciplined or, corrected?
Well, they were corrected, and then we were told that we were supposed to speak English only, and that they're supposed to forget their Tsimshian language and Tlingit and Haida, Yes, but the school, if you were tardy, then you had to go through that line.